For today's video, ang ating pag-uusapan is yung strike na nangyayari dito sa Canada. Ano ba ang epekto nito sa napaprocess pa lang ng paper nila papuntang Canada? Ang strike nangyayari ngayon sa Ottawa, which is ang province is Ontario, since the federal government is nandoon sa Ontario. Sino ba itong nagsa-strike at ano ba ang gusto nila from the government of Canada? Panoorin natin saglit yung video nila, yung mga nagsa-strike.
We are entering the second week. Yes, second week actually today. No, first week.
No, we're into the second week.
We're into the second week. That's what it is. See, eventually it'll all come clear in my
It'll be a
head.
blur.
Yeah, that's our lives, Karina. Where do things stand now?
Well, it doesn't sound like it's going very well, actually, at the negotiating table. The union had a rally at 12:30 today, Eastern, and said they got an email last night from the government negotiators saying, we're done for the night. Our offer is what it is so far. Not that it's a final offer, but this 9% over 3 years seems to be where the government wants to keep as close to as possible. So the union is accusing the government of stalling. And when they describe who's striking here, they're saying we're not talking high paid workers. We're talking women mostly, but generally speaking, people who make between $40,000 and $60,000. The government counters that, saying it's more like 50 to 75, but we're not talking top executives. The union has been asked, do you have enough support within your ranks for this strike to continue, and what about public support? And they said they're fairly confident on both fronts because they feel like their demands are reasonable. So have a listen to something that Chris Elwood, the president of PSAC, said earlier today.
They are stalling. The employer is stalling these negotiations. As I said earlier, they're still at 9% over 3 years. We have moved off our wage demand, but yet the employer hasn't moved on their wage demand, and yet they're telling us that we're the ones that have to move.
So obviously there seems to be a bit of an impasse there. As he said in his news conference, they feel like their demands are reasonable. That's not what we're hearing from the government side. Treasury Board says, an independent commission, third party, looked at it, is hoping that PSAC closer to that 9% mark, which she insists would result in a raise of thousands of dollars for employees. And so she was at
are unreasonable, unaffordable by the PSAC, and this is continuing the strike. I cannot write it. We have a PIC report, a third party that recommended salaries at a fair advantage for the employees, and that's what is on the table. And we will continue to negotiate. We're still at the table, but I just am in a place where I'm hoping some movement today.
And, in a statement, the Treasury Board put out a very strongly worded statement. They said that basically they don't want to sign an agreement that they say would be unaffordable for the country.
What about PSAC's call for the Prime Minister to take charge of this?
Yeah, they don't actually mean for him to come sit at the negotiating table. They basically think that he would have the power and, from the top down to say, actually, Treasury Board, you can offer more than that. Here's a new mandate. And that it's up to him to do that, and that they're asking him to do that. So far, what we've heard from the Prime Minister does not seem like he's inclined to do that he is very much in line with his minister on where to draw the line in terms of wage increases. But there is pressure on both sides, and the whether that comes in terms of service interruptions for Canadians, or the fact that the government wants to look like it's still worker friendly, but at the same point wants to look fiscally prudent. And so you could hear, that back and forth in his own mind when the Prime Minister spoke about this earlier. Have a listen.
First of all, understanding the importance of defending the rights to collective bargaining, the rights people have to a job action. This is something that's really important for our government. So yes, it's frustrating to know that Canadians may, as the days come, have more difficulty accessing services, but that's a motivator for everyone to try and resolve this.
And we'll see whether that motivation does create any progress today or as we go on. It should be noted that because of that, wanting to respect the collective bargaining process, respect the right to strike, be worker friendly, this government is probably less inclined to go to back to work legislation as a way to get out of this. So that's another motivation for the government side to stay at the table.
Okay, Karina Roman.
This strike is a labor union strike ng PSAC or Public Service Alliance of Canada. The PSAC, it is the largest union in the Canadian federal public sector. Ito po mga nagsastrike ngayon ay mga federal workers or government employees, mga employees sa iba't ibang sector or department, halimbawa sa health department, sa education department, sa agricultural department, at iba pa. As you can see, di ba maraming mga involved na departments, hindi lang 3, hindi lang 5, hindi lang 10, marami pong involved na departments or mga workers na included dito sa strike na ito. As you can see, kasali ang IRCC or Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada. Sa mga nagsa-strike, ano ba ang resulta nito or epekto? Since ang IRCC, ito po ay ang departamento na nagpa-process ng mga any kind of visas, maaapektuhan po ang mga visa applications. May mga delays, expected delays, hindi lang din sa IRCC, sa mga listed na departments na included sa nagsa-strike. As what the government says, they're really trying hard also not to disrupt or at least a minimal delays only for the said involved departments. Gaya ng IRCC, ayan, basahin nyo, pinaspecify ko talaga ang about sa IRCC. Tuloy pa rin ang mga application, ang mga submission ng application nyo. Siguro ang mga pag-reply na lang nila, siguro instead of 2 weeks, may reply na, baka madidelay ng 1 week. O, ewan natin, tingnan lang natin. Ano ba ang gusto ng mga federal workers na nagsa-strike ngayon? Ang gusto nila is salary increase. Yun po ang pinaka-main reason ng kanilang strike ay humingi ng increase sa Government of Canada. Ang hinihingi nila is 13.5%. 13.5, yes, tama nga, 13.5%. And then the Government of Canada says no, kasi masyado daw mahal ang hinihingi nila na 13.5. Kaya medyo matagal-tagal kasi may negotiation pang nangyayari. The Government of Canada is trying to negotiate a little less from the 13.5 kasi masyadong mahal. Hopefully, magkaroon na sila ng agreement sa specific na increase para balik na ang mga workers sa kanilang trabaho at wala na mga disruptions. I think that's it. Na-share ko na ang mga kaganapan dito sa Canada about sa strike. Thank you for watching.